All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Monday, February 6th, 2023, and of course, we're just a week away, or I guess we're 6 days away from the start, or the Super Bowl 57. So, it's only natural we put out our Super Bowl pick'em video. As we know quite a bit now heading into the week. Barring any major surprises, we should know who's playing, we should know who's out. So these are pretty well thought out picks as well, because we've had an extra week to think about everything and kind of consider who might play, who might who might not win, who just whatever, just all the thoughts that you might have about the game should have been probably hammered out by now. Maybe by Saturday when we do like the preview stream for this game, you might have a little bit more to think about or something like that, but for the most part you should be pretty comfortable in the way you're thinking about these games. So it's time to make our picks and go over the game and how we think it'll play out. But before we do, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and leave your picks down below, leave your thoughts on the game down below, all that good stuff. And because I want to get back to you and see what you're thinking of the game, see how your playoffs have gone with picking things, because I'm 7-5 right now. I've gotten 7 right, 5 wrong, so decent playoffs. So I'll finish over 500, but hopefully we finish with a win here. Overall though, and the likes and all that stuff helps the video perform better. And I'm sorry to bring it up in the beginning, but it just helps the video perform better, gets it out of the way, so we can just kind of move into the content without any real hassle or worry. All right, Super Bowl 57s. I think it's out in Arizona. The NFC will be the home team of this one, because every other year it's the AFC or the NFC. I think last year the Los Angeles was the home team, but I think it was like the Chargers. The year before that it was Tampa. I think the year before that it was the Chiefs. The year before that I believe it was the would have been the Rams. So just it's every other year the AFC and NFC rotated. Seedings left is, of course, in the AFC you just have the 1 seed in the Chiefs, and in the NFC you have just the Eagles left. Both teams finished 14-3. Both teams had really good regular seasons. Both teams kind of had weaker schedules. I believe their DVOAs were 30-31. So if you're going to use one team having a weak schedule, you have to use it against the other, and really doesn't matter when both of them wound up being the 1 seeds and playing in the Super Bowl. So you can't really use strength of schedule against either team, especially like the Eagles, where people really like to do that when they boat race both the teams they've played in the playoffs. They beat the Giants like 38-14, and then they turned around and beat the 49ers 33-6. So you know what I mean? It's like, all right, yeah, so you can't really say that they just kind of coasted because of an easy schedule. They just happen to be a very good team, much like the Chiefs are. So here we got the 2 1 seeds playing each other, and we have the Super Bowl on Sunday, February 12th, 2023, which should be quite the exciting games. I know this is kind of irrelevant and it's not really important, but it's kind of cool that Mahomes and Hurts are, I believe they're the first African-American quarterbacks to ever face off in a Super Bowl, which I believe is more significant when you understand there's this weird history in the NFL where they urged non-white quarterbacks to play other positions up, even as far as recently as guys like Hines Ward, or he's one of the bigger ones I can think of. It's like Hines Ward. There's another receiver that would have probably played really good. I think Antoine Randall also played quarterback in college, as far as college, and they were decent college quarterbacks that probably could have made it in the NFL. But there was this weird bias against having it was just, they had if you wanted to be a non-white quarterback, there was a lot of weird bias that you had to deal with. So it was just easier to switch to receiver or running back or play defensive back and whatever. So it's kind of cool to see where we've come. It came pretty quick, and it's nice to see, just to see the league coming around and making changes as it naturally comes along. Pretty cool. I was just surprised to find out it was the first time. I'm like, really? Seems like this would have happened by now. But anyway, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, as you probably know by now, hopefully. Both teams are, as we've already discussed, 14-3. The Eagles will play the mantle of home team, as it's I guess it's an odd year. So when it's the odd years, the NFC is usually the home team, which is kind of cool to go back and look and see how far that goes. The Eagles are 1.5 point favorites with an over-under of 50.5, which is per FanDuel. It's kind of like what FanDuel is giving the lines as. So if you're wondering where I got that and if it's weighing into the decision to make this pick, not really. I just put the lines in after I make the pick, just to see, for people to see where they're at and to see, just to have a referencing point to something. So yeah. All right, so as you can see here, I clearly have the Eagles beating the Chiefs 28-24. Well, I seen the script and I kind of know how it's going to go, so I couldn't be like that. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, Yeah, so I kind of just like the Eagles in this one, right? As I kind of previously mentioned, they won what, 31-7. Oh, I was off by a little bit, 31-7 against the Niners, and then they beat the Giants up a very similar score. Maybe they gave up another touchdown, but it was still another beating of the Giants. And I've been very impressed with what their defense has been doing. They've been able to completely eliminate the run, which has been one of their biggest problems, just shutting it down. So I could imagine in this game they're going to shut down the Chiefs' ability to run, and with the injuries to I believe Mecole Hardman, there could be a little bit of issue for the Chiefs regarding the receiving game. Probably nothing too extreme or anything too severe, but I could imagine the Chiefs with eliminating the run game will make things a little harder on the Chiefs in terms of like offensively moving the ball with Mecole out. I know they're getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire back, but I don't necessarily think that's enough to sway things, especially since, again, I do believe the Eagles are going to somehow shut down the run like they've done all postseason and kind of limit the damage of what you can do with the passing game. That might also still be dealing with problems with Mahomes. I think he's okay. I haven't really heard much about the ankle, so he should be good and ready to play, and it shouldn't be too much of a bother for him. So that's, something to think about. Again, I just really like what the Eagles been doing defensively. All regular season, they had one of the better pass rushing units, and that I expect that to be a factor in this game. They're very good at pass defense, and now the rush defense in the playoffs has been pretty immaculate against a very good running teams. The Giants run the ball well with Barkley, and of course Daniel Jones isn't a slouch at running the football as a quarterback either. And then of course you have the 49ers that are basically a running football team with a bunch of different gadgets. Kyle Shanahan, they have Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel. They run the ball quite well. So I would imagine, the Chiefs, who don't run the ball as well as those two teams, are probably going to struggle just a little bit against the Eagles defense that's figured it out. So you'll see a one-dimensional Chiefs offense that has problems, due to the Mecole Hardman injury. That's kind of my thoughts here. And then the Eagles offense, their offensive line is going to be stout, ready to go, ready to take on whomever. They're going to be ready for the Chiefs defensive front, which has been pretty good with Chris Jones, and they got Chris Jones and all that. Again, it's just I don't know about the Chiefs defense. They're good. They're a solid unit, especially they play better in the playoffs. I've noticed over the entire run of this Mahomes and Reed run, they play way better, and it's just something they do. But again, I don't know if they have really the defensive firepower to take on this Eagles offense and keep them grounded long enough to completely stop them. Like if they try to sell out to stop the run ability, then the Eagles can kind of it looks like they can just slap back into the pass and give it to Smith or give it to Brown and just really mess people up. And if they're covered, then give it to Goddard. It's like, oh man, there's so many options. There's just too many options. And again, the Chiefs, I feel like, again, they're fairly solid and competent at what they're doing. They did a good job with the Bengals, but that was like their fourth time playing the Bengals inside a 2-year span or like a year span. It's crazy. So it took quite a while for them to be able to pull that one off. And like the Bengals had dealt with they didn't have an offensive line, and the Eagles do. And again, and you would think like the coaching would be a major advantage for the Chiefs, but it's like outside of one Super Bowl win, Andy Reid is kind of a notorious like championship game, whether that be the conference or the Super Bowl, like big moment fumbler. Like he doesn't manage the clock well. He seems to not know how to coach in big moments. Again, outside of a 49ers Super Bowl win against Kyle Shanahan, the architect, one of the architects of that Falcons Super Bowl collapse. So it literally took Andy Reid playing another guy who's almost as bad, if not worse than him, with clock management and clock decisions and general late game play calling with a lead. For him to win a Super Bowl. So I'm like, all right, he's going up against a coach that seems pretty competent with the clock, very confident in decision making, makes the right decisions very, very often, and Nick Sirianni. So I'm just, I keep running into things where I'm like, man, special teams, Butker, I'll take the Chiefs kicker, kinda. It's not like the Eagles can't kick. Like it just seems like such a good matchup, such an even match. Like on most ends, it's like, yeah, I like the Chiefs offense a lot, and I like the Eagles offense a lot, but I happen to like the Eagles offense versus the Chiefs defense a lot more than I like the Chiefs defense or the Chiefs offense against the Eagles defense. You know what I mean? Or it's like I like both teams' defenses quite a bit actually. The Chiefs have improved quite a bit year to year with this defense, and But again, I think I like the Eagles defense going up against the Chiefs or offense more than I like a Chiefs defense going up this Eagles offense. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like every like angle, it's like, yeah, these are very good teams that are like the top of their individual conferences. Clearly they're the 1 seeds, but like, it feels like the Eagles just have like a slight edge in every matchup across the board. Like they have like the better team against like they're going up against a slightly easier defense to play. Their offense is going up, their defense is taking on, in my opinion, the offense versus offense thing. That's a very subjective thing. I think the who has the better offense. I would say the Eagles do. They have a more consistent, dynamic offense. Whereas like if Kelsey has a bad game for whatever reason, the Chiefs might not score many. It's just if he's off, they're off. So I don't know. Those are the reasons I'm kind of feeling the Eagles on this one. Again, this feels like such a close game, such a close call that any really decision you decide to make on this game is very. I could be like, oh, that's a pretty good point. I didn't think of it from that angle. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that just like make me go, man, that's a good point. But. As everything stands now, as everything looks right now, I kind of like the way I broke that down at the end. I like the Eagles offense versus this Chiefs defense more than I like the Chiefs offense versus this Eagles defense. And I like the Eagles defense more than I like the Chiefs defense because the Eagles defense is playing what I think is not as good an offense as the Eagles have to. You know what I mean? Like the Eagles defense is facing a Chiefs offense that's already down a receiver. Has like 2 other guys they can throw the ball to and a rookie running back and a just return for like they have like this weird thing where it's like the Eagles have pretty much a pretty good healthy offense that's the same guys all year. It's just their 2 dynamic receivers, tight end and running back are good to go with Hurts. Everybody's pretty healthy. The offensive line is going to be extremely healthy with that extra week off, and it just feels like a game the Eagles are set to win. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. That's always a thing you can do, as I mentioned earlier. Here's my overall pick'em for the year. It wasn't the greatest year, not the worst. We went 158, 111, and 111 and 2 in the regular season, and then we're 7-5 in the playoffs. So that's our week. Week 19, week 20. Super Bowl 57 picks video, so I hope you enjoyed it. Again, leave a like, subscribe, and all that YouTube mumbo jumbo. But yeah, I'm curious to see how you're thinking about the Super Bowl, who you have, what you think, how you think the game is going to go. So make sure you leave your picks and all that, and I'll make sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Anything else before I get out of here? Nope. All right. Hopefully you tune into the live stream on Sunday. If you're not watching with family or friends and you're just watching by yourself or just kind of bored or something, just maybe you'll tune in, maybe you won't. Hopefully I'll see you. If I'm not, I'll see you next season. It was a fun run, and thank you to everyone who subscribed and watched along and left comments and made the channel grow to over 8,000 subscribers, which was the goal back in last January when the year changed and everything like that. So we'll see where things are when the season begins. Hopefully we can get to 9,000, maybe. We'll find out when we get to those ends. So, all right. Thank you guys for another fun season. I appreciate you so much. If this is the last time I see you before the fall, then I'll see you when I see you next. Hopefully you tune in for some football talks across the summer, maybe some talks covering the XFL, USFL, maybe some baseball stuff, maybe it's just some of the hangout or gaming streams. Hopefully we see you around. But if it is what it is and I don't see you till then, take it easy and stay safe out there. All right. Thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day, night, morning, mid-afternoon, mid-evening, that time before like 1, 2, 3 o'clock, or that time between 1 and 3 when it's kind of like a weird vague afternoon, midday, I don't know. Anyway, whenever you watch it, have a good one. I'll see you next time. Go Lions, go Tigers, and of course it's always go Patriots. And best of luck to the teams in the Super Bowl. Next year, the Patriots return to dominance. That's all I have to say about that. Goodbye.